Hey, if you're looking to start a roofing company and maybe you've gone to the bank and asked for a loan to help you cover some of the startup expenses, maybe you need a truck, maybe you need some equipment, maybe you need some working capital to help pay your crew as you get started with your first handful of jobs, or maybe you're even an existing roofing company and you're looking to expand and the bank has asked you for a set of financial projections to help show that you can cash flow and pay back the loan. Well, if that's the case, if you need a set of financial projections for a roofing company, you've come to the right place because we have built a financial projection template built specifically for roofing businesses. I'm going to walk you through this template here today to show you how to fill it out. I'm also going to, at the end of the video, give you access to a coupon code that you can use to purchase this template. And I'll link to this template so you can purchase that in the description of the video below. So you just go down to the description, click that link, and you'll be able to get this template and follow along that way. Before I get too far into it, though, just also to give you a little bit of context, my name is Adam Huxema. I'm the co-founder of ProjectionHub. And over the last decade, we've helped over 50,000 founders create financial projections for their startups and small businesses. And I've also spent a decade as a SBA lender, a small business administration lender. And so I know about the SBA lending process and know what they're looking for in terms of a set of financial projections. And so we've built these templates to try to help you as you're going through that loan process or that startup process. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and dive into the template. So we're going to start kind of with the end in mind. So this is our at a glance tab. This is after you've filled out all of your assumptions for your business. You're going to be able to create a 5-year financial projection for your roofing company. And this at a glance tab just has some different charts and graphs and tools that will just that you can throw into your business plan or put into a pitch deck. Now, we're also going to look at the financial statements. So you're going to get a 5-year income statement summary here, a 5-year cash flow summary, a 5-year balance sheet, and then an income statement, cash flow, and balance sheet report, all broken down by month for each of the 5 years. So you get the summary details as well as that monthly level detail, which the bank may be looking for both. So that's kind of the end deliverable. We have a little bit of work in order to get there. So what we're going to do is go back here to our input assumptions tab. This is where we'll get started. I'll walk you through how to fill this out. So we can put in some general assumptions like the start month of the projections, how much are you personally going to invest, or how much are outside investors going to put into the business. Now, if you're trying to get a loan, typically you're going to have to put in probably at least 10% of the total loan or total startup cost in as a personal investment. You can put in any starting inventory. If you do have any starting inventory, maybe we're going to buy $5,000 worth of starting inventory to get started. You can also have fixed assets. So maybe you're going to have $50,000 worth of tools, $100,000 worth of trucks, and maybe you have a small storage building where you can store your truck, your tools, some inventory. And so we've got a building for $100,000 here as well. So those are kind of our startup costs that we need to try to get a loan in order to pay for those things, right? And so we've got an SBA loan here listed at $250,000, 120 months, so a 10-year term repayment with an 8% interest rate. And if you have multiple loans, you have the ability to add multiple loans here as well. All right, so now let's go back over to our input revenue tab. And here we've got our residential roofing services. So we've kind of got this split between residential and commercial. And so we assume that if you only do commercial or you only do residential, what you can do is just zero out the assumptions for residential if all you do is commercial work, or vice versa. In this example, we're going to assume you do a bit of both. You do some residential and some commercial work. We're going to say, hey, we're going to spend $2,000 a month on advertising, and we think it's going to cost us $20 per lead to get a residential roofing lead. So $2,000 a month at $20 a lead is going to give us 100 leads from paid advertising. We also think we're going to get 20 organic leads, so just word of mouth. As we do good work, people are going to hear about us and share. So we'll also then have a conversion rate of leads to customers. So not all of those leads are going to turn into customers. They're going to probably be shopping around. And so we think we're going to convert 10% of those leads into new customers. So that will give us 12 total new customers in month 1 for our residential services. And then here's the breakdown of the services that we're going to provide. So you can put in the different services. We've got shingles for residential, a metal roof, siding, gutters, and roof repair as a set of different services we provide. And you'll want to put in what percentage of your total customers are going to purchase each of these services. So we're saying out of these 12 new customers, 30% are going to buy or just need new shingles. Maybe 10% need a metal roof and so on. And you can put in the average price for that service. And then the cost of materials. So what I've done here is these are set up as a calculation. So if you look here up in this calculation bar, it's going to take the average price times 0.35. So in other words, that's saying, hey, our cost of materials is 35%. And you'll need to do your own research, and it depends on kind of where you're located, your buying power, how much inventory you're buying in bulk, and a number of different factors. But you'll have some estimation of your cost of materials as a percentage for your job. So you probably have a goal of trying to keep your cost of materials at a certain percentage of the total price of the job. And the same thing with labor. You'll probably have a percentage that you're shooting for. And so we did some research. I think roofing contractors generally have a cost of goods sold in the kind of 60 to 80% range, meaning your gross profit on a job is going to be 20 to 40%. So that's why we've got 35% for labor and 35% for materials in this example, is giving us a 30% gross profit margin on this particular job. You'll be able to set that for your own services and your expectations. Now you have the ability to increase your prices on an annual basis. So if we say, hey, we expect that our prices for our services will increase at 5% a year, you can set that here. You also assume that your cost of goods sold will probably increase as well. Your material and labor costs will increase. And so we set that here as a 4% rate. So hopefully we're getting a little more margin each year because we're able to increase our prices more than our cost of goods sold increase. And based on that, we'll be able to calculate our residential roofing revenue and our residential roofing gross profit. Now we're going to have the same exercise for commercial roofing, where we're going to have ad spend, except we expect our cost per customer lead to be much higher for commercial, typically, because they're much larger customers, right? And they might be repeat customers as well. And so we set here a cost per customer lead for commercial roofing at $500 a lead. We're going to have far fewer organic leads as well. But if we get 5 leads, we hope that our sales team can convert 20% of them. So we'll get 1 new commercial customer here each month. And then here's the breakdown of the different commercial services and the price points for those as well. Same thing, you can increase your prices and your cost of goods sold on an annual basis. We also have the ability for you to put in your sales commission. So you might have a sales commission percentage for your team, and it might be different for residential jobs than commercial jobs. So we give you the ability, for example, here to give a 7% commission for residential sales and a 5% commission on commercial. And that will allow you to calculate your total revenue and total cost of goods sold. Now we can jump over to our input other expenses tab here. I'll zoom in a little bit. And so these first 3 lines, they're blacked out here because we've actually already calculated this on the input revenue. The advertising that we're spending for residential, for commercial, and the sales commission, these 3 expenses are already calculated on that previous tab. So we just have a slot in here for them, but we're not calculating them on this page. Now these additional expenses here, credit card fees, this is a good example where if your customers are paying you with a credit card, you're going to have to pay a credit card processing fee. And so what you want to do is say, make that a percentage of revenue. So for all of your expenses, you can set them as either a fixed dollar amount, which means it's the same dollar amount each month, or a percentage of revenue. So as your revenue grows, your credit card fees will grow as well. So we're assuming that, hey, a lot of our customers are going to pay with credit card. And we could say that, maybe it's just the residential business that's paying with credit card. Maybe the commercial pays with a check. So for the residential, we'll say 2% of residential roofing revenue will go towards credit card fees. Now, we also have insurance costs, accounting and bookkeeping costs, rent. If you are renting a building, maybe renting a storage facility, or renting equipment or vehicles, you could put rent in there for that. We have supplies, utilities, and internet and phone. And of course, there could be more operating expenses that you'll have. It kind of depends on what your particular business plan is. So you'll want to go through and enter in your own plan of expenses here. And then we're getting towards the end here on the input side. So we just have one more tab, our salaries tab here. Let's say we're going to have a receptionist for $35,000, and they're going to start right in month 1. So we can set what month these different employees will start and end. So it's a 60-month financial model, a 5-year financial model. And so we've just saying that all the employees are ending in month 60. But we can see that, hey, we've got a manager that also starts in month 1. Then we have a site supervisor that doesn't start until month 13 because, hey, as we grow and we have more commercial jobs or more residential jobs, we might need to add additional supervisors for the different job sites. And so in month 25, we also add a second site supervisor. So that gives you an example of how you can plan that in. And that's really it. Once we've done that, we are back to where we started on the at a glance. Now, the things that you'll want to look at is your margin. So, a roofing contractor, margins based on some quick Google searches are in the mid single digits. So typically in the 5 to maybe 10% range on the high end. And so if you're looking at your net income percentage here, we've got a range of 4 to 8%. And so that probably feels like that's about right for the industry. Now, if you fill out all of your assumptions and you realize, wow, I've got a net income percentage of 40%, you probably did something wrong. You're probably forgetting something. Something's off, or you're being too aggressive with your sales or something like that. So keep an eye on those things. All right, so that's really the end of it. Thank you for watching, for sticking with us to the end. There is going to be in the description of the video below a link to a form where you can go ahead and get a coupon code to get a discount on this particular template. So go ahead and grab that discount code and purchase a template. If you have any questions along the way or need any help customizing it, we are here and happy to help.